Let's start off with today's match. Let's start off with Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Chelsea have booked their spot in the Champions League final. A fantastic result from the Blues. A fantastic honestly, it was a fantastic game from them. I thought they were the much better team. I thought that Real Madrid struggled to make many clear chances. They had one or two in the first half. Benzema had a decent chance, you could say, by Mendy, but I thought Chelsea, over the two legs especially, was just a much better team.
Chelsea were the better team in this match. Just from the start, they were creating the better chances. Real Madrid did get a few with Benzema there, but in the second half, it was just wide open for Chelsea, getting chance after chance, and Madrid not able to create anything really other than shots from distance.
It was definitely not. It was not a Madrid display that we're kind of used to. Um, then again, this is not a Madrid team that we're used to. This is not the Cristiano Ronaldo three Champions League in a row era of Madrid. This is a much different team. I don't think they're as good. I think they're relying on aging players to do the same job they did 5 years ago. Um, and really, I think Chelsea looked good on the attack. Chelsea were going forward. They're very quick. They were getting space in behind. Timo Werner, for all the crap he gets, he had a good game. Ultimately, I'm happy to see this Chelsea team doing well. I'm happy to see Thomas Tuchel coming and doing a good job. I'm happy to see Timo Werner picking up a goal. Yes, it was a simple enough goal, but he scored it. I'm happy to see Pulisic doing well and Havertz doing well. I'm happy to see N'Golo Kante having a fantastic match. I'm looking forward to this final. I really am. I think it's gonna be a really good final.
And it's kind of funny with all of this because Thomas Tuchel, comes into Chelsea midway from the season after getting sacked by PSG. PSG, of course, were in the Champions League final under his tenure, and now he's bringing Chelsea to the Champions League final with PSG out in the semifinals.
Back-to-back finals for Thomas Tuchel.
And Thiago Silva.
Yeah, and Thiago Silva is a good point.
Well, Walls, what are your thoughts on the match?
Good for Chelsea. Like, congrats. As simple as that. I don't know. I'm happy to see the Kai Havertz is performing for them.
It's just another good defensive display by them.
Defensively, they were very good. Yeah.
Personally,
Sure.
I don't like when people kind of slag off players just because they have like a rough start to life at a club. Like Kai Havertz, for example, when he started at Chelsea, and everyone was saying he was a flop after like 3 months, 4 months, and now he's starting to finally perform and show his ability, and I'm very happy. I don't know. I like when players can prove people wrong. So I always cheer support for the underdog, even though when they're not supposed to be an underdog.
I mean, I don't think there's really any underdogs left in this tournament. I know Chelsea technically are on the favorites betting wise, not as they're not the favorites compared to Real Madrid, who are multiple Champions League winners in the past few years. PSG with all the money, City with all the money, but Chelsea are a pretty rich team. They spent a lot in the summer. A lot was expected out of them when the season began, and with Lampard, it wasn't working out too well. But right now, everything is going to plan. Everything is going well in how I'm sure the board had envisioned when the season started. Maybe even better right now, but there's still lots of work to be done.
Nico says here, Man City have already won the Champions League. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, Chelsea did just beat City in the cup. Was it the full squad by City? No. This is definitely going to be a good game.
People are once again doubting Chelsea. There's a lot of people who doubted them going against Madrid, both Atletico and Real. Porto, I mean, it could have gone. In the way Porto were performing, it could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, I think Chelsea were the favorites in that tie. But I wouldn't doubt Chelsea with the results they're getting. Yes, they're not like high-scoring affairs, but they're getting clean sheets pretty consistently. I don't know why people are ignoring that.
Well, Casey makes a good point there. I think Chelsea get written off because of the first half of the season. Yeah, Chelsea under Frank Lampard and Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel are two very different teams. Frank Lampard struggled to get the best 11. He struggled to get the best out of Kai Havertz. Timo Werner was very ineffective under him. Mason Mount was performing well, but not as well as he is today. I think Thomas Tuchel's come in and just made subtle changes and just gotten the best out of already good players. We knew Chelsea's squad was good. We knew Chelsea spent good money this summer, and it's now starting to pay off. And
I mean, he brought in a system, the three-back system, where it's not really overcomplicating anything. The players know their roles in that system quite well, and he's going with a lot more veterans for sure compared to like Azpilicueta's playing more versus when Reece James was playing more under Lampard.
I find it would be weird if they didn't play their captain. I gotta say,
Cesar.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not as good as he was a handful of years ago, but he has been performing well for Chelsea under this run, to be fair to him.
Why do we think Thomas Tuchel had such an immediate impact? Because Thomas Tuchel's a good manager. Straight up, that's as simple. Thomas Tuchel is a good manager. I think he's much better manager than Frank Lampard. No offense to Frank Lampard, but I don't think he is Premier League quality yet.
For like 2 seasons.
Exactly, he's not Premier League quality yet.
3 seasons.
So the simple answer is Thomas Tuchel's a better manager. He comes in, the players are more excited and more trusting in a manager who's been there and done it, kind of thing. And he was able to just make the best starting 11 he could, and you know, the thing is, okay, so if Timo Werner's not scoring you goals, well, you know what? Timo Werner is still getting in behind. He's getting space. He's pulling defenders out of the way. That is what he is there for, and really, he's being very effective at that as of right now. He's being effective.
Well, as soon as Thomas Tuchel came in, he went to the 3-back right away, and you could see it's working very well for Chelsea. So,
and they're just much more better defensively, and having the veterans they have in the squad is really helping. I think Thiago Silva's been a big boost to them this season.
Yeah,
and he could get the Champions League trophy he's been craving for a long time.
I mean, it's going to be tough for Chelsea. I mean, City in the final is very intimidating.
Before we still got to talk about the City PSG game.
100%. I was going to say, City in that final is going to be very intimidating because we just watched what City was able to do against PSG. PSG is a very good team, lots of superstars, and I would like to say over the 2 legs, Man City was comfortable. Man City dealt with them. They did the job they needed to do, and I don't think they were ever too stressed.
I think in the first half of the first leg, PSG was actually playing a lot better and were actually doing quite well, but I think in the second half of that match, it had a few unfortunate moments go against them, and overall didn't really play too well themselves in that half. And many people have said it, but it's partly true, even though it's a little simplistic, but they sometimes just over-rely on the brilliance of like a Neymar, Mbappe, and Di Maria.
Individual special moment, yeah.
Well, Holmes, you just quickly, it's a 3-back when you're defending, a 5-back when you're attacking. It's basically the same thing. Say 5-back or 3-back.
Yeah, those fullbacks. The fullback formation. I mean, not to say I did it first, but the thick Ginge has been rocking that in FIFA for quite some time. It's just the best formation.
Please stop.
Best formation out there. Tactical genius here, Sir Alex Ferguson. Take notes from me.
Well, I mean, since Tuchel took charge, he beat Jose Spurs, he beat Simeone's Atleti home and away, he beat Klopp's Liverpool, beat City's Pep City, beat Zidane's Madrid, beat Ancelotti, UCL final, FA final. 24 games in, 20 clean sheets, 2 losses. And also, there were a few people who, in our Twitch chat, were saying, oh, Jorginho versus Modric and Cruz. Jorginho made more interceptions than any other player against Real Madrid, with 6. He also had the joint most ball recoveries, 8, and won 100% of his aerial duels. Why doubt Jorginho ever?
Jorginho's
that was
very good since he went to Chelsea.
That Chelsea midfield, Jorginho and Conte, is very underrated. I mean, N'Golo Kanté, in my opinion, is still the best CDM in the world. I think the ground he covers...
He's not even playing CDM anymore.
He's very box-to-box, yeah. But he's just so good at what he does. And his defensive side is so underrated. His attacking side is now becoming underrated. N'Golo Kanté is just a world-class midfielder. And Jorginho alongside. I mentioned how I didn't see PSG, especially in that second leg, as scoring a goal. I didn't see them with any major threats on net. They lost their heads very early on. Di Maria, of course, getting that red card, and really they fell apart. They could not put together the performance that was required to beat a top team in Manchester City.
I was just going to say, well, maybe we should go on to the City PSG game because that's the game we still need to talk about.
100%, yeah.
It was one of those games that I think both teams were kind of a good match for each other, but in the end, City were the more dominant side, the more composed side. We saw a lot of PSG's immaturity, especially in the second leg. For me, PSG, the way they acted against City, especially in the second half, they didn't prove to me that they are deserving to be champions. That's not how a champion reacts when something's not going their way, pushing around, shoving, all this and that. It was ridiculous.
I mean, a bunch of players just lost their heads. I think several players there, Paredes, obviously Di Maria, who got the red card for stamping on Fernandinho, they lost their heads. Verratti was getting fired up. I mean, I think City obviously know what they were doing. I think City did some things that riled them up a little, but there's a line that you can cross. City didn't cross that line. They were teetering with that, and that caused some annoyances with PSG.
You can sorry, I was just going to say, you can see with City's how they're playing. Like, they're played very good defensively, which City has been doing this season, which is a big improvement over past seasons. And you could tell that they were, like, annoying them. Like, there's times Phil Foden's just dribbling around the players, like, drawing a foul, and it annoys PSG.
Yeah. Mahrez as well, yeah. I think the most underrated, the player that needs to be talked about in that second leg, Fernandinho. What a game he had in that midfield. 36 years old. He controlled the possession. He controlled the defensive line almost. He won so many interceptions and tackles. His leadership abilities, Fernandinho was brilliant in that second leg.
I think a lot of people thought he would come in and play that second leg, so after not playing the first leg.
But to preview the final a little bit, Chelsea versus Manchester City. We will be seeing it very soon in the Premier League. I believe it's on Saturday, that game. We will be able to see what could be happening in the Champions League final. Of course, an all-English affair. But I think that final, everyone's going to say City's going to win. It's going to be a comfortable win for City. City's dominant. Thomas Tuchel, a great manager. Chelsea's a good team. I really think that final is going to be much tighter than people are going to give credit to.
I think City is still the favorites, but like I agree, it's not just going to be some easy game.
Of course not. Champions League final is never an easy game. There's still time in between then and now. You don't know what could happen. Injuries could happen, or who knows? You never know what could happen.
Like you said, we'll see on Saturday. Because it's a big game. It's a big looking like stepping stone for the Champions League final.
It'll be interesting for sure because I think both sides will be very cautious in that final. I don't think that there will be a lot of risk taking involved really.
And one big thing about the Saturday game, of course, like we said, it is a beginner, like a stepping stone for the Champions League final. But Man City don't really care. They care, of course, for the league game, but they've won the title already. Chelsea are still fighting for, like, if they don't win the Champions League, they're still fighting for Champions League for next season, and so they need to win this game. While City can rest players.
City can rest. City can rotate. Yeah, 100%.
That's a bad idea.
Would you rotate some?
Against Chelsea, considering this is going to be the team you're going to be playing in the Champions League final, I think you're going to want to have your best players on the pitch so they can learn what to expect coming against Chelsea in the final.
Possible. It is possible. You know, I could see someone like Kevin De Bruyne maybe not starting. Someone maybe like Mahrez not starting.
Exactly what Holmes was saying, though. He could see Pep resting the whole team. I could even see it, too. They have the bench to do that. They could still put out their bench or their second team, and it's still a good team. It's still a decent
100%.
team. It's not
100%.
their top team, of course, but why risk getting, like, Kevin De Bruyne has had some injuries. If he gets injured for the Champions League final from that game, that is...
Yeah. Especially, like I said, City have won the title. That title is not going to anyone else. I mean, I don't see a point of not resting a good chunk of your squad for the remainder of the season.
Yeah,